Hello, friends. Man, it has been a while since I've done a live stream on my channel. It's been like 4 months, and I was going to do one in January. And yeah, January flew by, even though it's the longest month of the year. And so finally, March, and it's like, I've got to do something. There's too much going on that I want to talk about. So, welcome to Facts, Opinions, and Real Talk. Um, Before we get started, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's free and it would really be helpful in supporting my channel. I'd really appreciate it. So, tonight's topics are going to be Alabama focus based. Why? Because if you can't tell by my accent, I live in Alabama. So tonight we're going to just touch on the Oscar nominated The Alabama Solution documentary. And then we're going to talk about Charles Sonny Burton. And then last we'll talk about Toforest Johnson. And so there's plenty to cover. And I'm excited, not about the topics, but I'm just excited to be here with you guys. So grab a drink. I got mine. I'm covering the name so because they didn't pay me anything. I'm just getting it. I got my sweet tea. And yeah, snacks. If you already want to put on your PJs, go ahead. That's fine. And rewatch crew, if you missed it when this was live, that's fine. Still put comments in. Ask questions and I'll respond later, or leave a comment. I'd love to know what you guys think. And same with people in the chat. Leave comments, or if you just want to talk amongst yourselves, that's fine too in the chat. I don't have a problem with that as long as we stay on topic. I don't want anybody, getting off topic. And I guess that part is taken care of. So let's get started. All right. So I'm going to start off with the Oscar nominated documentary, The Alabama Solution. And this is their website. So when you go to their website, this is what you'll see. And there's different tabs that you can go over. Let me fix my mic just a second. There we go. I'm trying some new techniques tonight, so maybe it'll sound a little better. But anyway, so the documentary, The Alabama Solution, this film was truly an eye-opener for me. I mean, when I watched it, you hear stuff, but there was stuff I had not heard, and I was flabbergasted. I was shocked. I was, I don't know. I'm not naive about this. What they packed into this documentary just fired me up. And I'm not like, how can I put it? I'm not like this political person. And, you know, I don't know how to explain it. Prison was prison. I didn't deal with prison. I didn't know anything about it. I just know bad people went there. That's all I knew. And after this came out, I had some discussions with friends and not all inmates should be put in together. Why put murderers with somebody that's robbed a bank? Why? I don't know exactly how the layout of prisons. I've just heard of solitary confinement and pods, or is that just the jail? See, I don't know, but that's one thing I am going to be researching on. Like I said, I just want to touch on this, but when you watch this, and there's several ways you can watch it. You can watch it on HBO, or it's Max now. And actually, if you're following the Alabama Solution on Facebook, they are touring places in Alabama and having free viewings of this. That's how important it is to them to get the word out about what is going on in Alabama's prison systems and what officials are letting happen with no accountability. So back in 2019, filmmakers Andrew Jarecki, I hope I spelled that or said that correctly, and Charlotte Kaufman, they're known for HBO's documentary The Jinx, and they visited an Alabama prison. And so we're away from cameras, because you can't take cameras in there. I don't think. Again, I don't know because I haven't studied and then researched, but I will because this is a topic we'll be discussing all year. And but anyways, so incarcerated men quietly shared a troubling message. Terrible things are happening and being kept under wraps. Um, this revelation ignited a 6-year investigation. So, to 6 years to get all this to put in this documentary. And it wasn't just, a little here. I mean, you're immersed into what these prisoners are dealing. It's like you are there in the cell because you are. Um, so the investigation was to uncover the truth. Like I said, about, what was going on behind the walls. And so without the unprecedented access to video footage, um, the footage was actually captured on contraband cell phones. The directors uncovered a pattern of suspicious and violent deaths. I think some of us have heard about those, and also how some families are, their their family member that was in prison, um, their they were organ donors when they didn't mark that they were organ donors. So, and believe it or not, after you pass, you still have rights. So, but anyway, so it revealed several incidents, and they were far from isolated. So, it wasn't just every now and then. This is going on every day. And the official narratives that those in charge are very misleading. A harrowing tale about, brutality, corruption, and systemic collapse is what, makes part of this video. But then, I'm sorry, this film. And the Alabama solution really highlights the inmates striving for survival. And against all odds, they launched this powerful campaign that it affected me. I mean, I want to get things right, and I want to help the best way I can, and that's why I'm doing this video. And so, but anyways, so after the film was released, 3 of the inmates in the movies were transferred, um, and I believe a couple of them were put in solitary confinement, and their family members could not get in touch with them. I do know one got put back into general population, and the one that is still in solitary confinement finally got a tablet to be able to communicate. So just for this, and I'm sure there's people in there doing a lot worse and not getting any in trouble for it. It goes by. It's really sad. I admire these men. I don't know what they did in their past. I just know that right now in this moment, they want things to be corrected, and they don't want what's happening in there to happen to everyone. And that's the thing that I think people forget. Even myself, when I was thinking about this the other day, you know, prison is a dirty word, and but what we're doing is when these people are charged and they go to prison, they are to be reformed. That is the whole purpose of them going to prison. Not to be miserable, not to be treated like pieces of shit, not to have rats roaming around in their individual cells, and not knowing if they're going to be alive tomorrow or not. And the guards or whoever are going to let it happen. And so you got to remember it's a reform to see if these people that are charged with these crimes can be reformed and then put back out into society. And now I know there are serial killers, um, people that do SA. Y'all know what that is. I have to be weird about that because of YouTube. They apparently don't want us to have adult conversations. But anyways, so just some examples. Yeah, they need to stay in there, and yeah, but others they don't. I mean, it's sad. It really is sad, and I cried, and I'm ashamed that my state is allowing this to happen. I'm ashamed of Governor Kay Ivey. Especially, I mean, she's a woman of power. And growing up, well, not just growing up, but in my younger years, I would have jobs and I'd work hard, but I could never ever, get like to the let's say a manager position or something like that. It was always given to a man. And then one place I worked at is they would they would let women be managers, but they would make less than the men and have the same qualifications. So I don't know how I got. Oh, talking about okay, say ADD brain. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is finally, we're having more women of power, and I'm embarrassed. I'm like, what is she doing? There are some good things I have seen her do, but this is ridiculous. The filmmakers even reached out to her to come, I think, to the Oscars with them to watch it, and she didn't respond. Imagine that, because this whole thing it's going to be a piece of history. This is the piece of Alabama history that is going to show that under Kay Ivey, what awful, horrible things were going on in our prison system. And her name is going to be attached to this, well, for a very, very long time. So if you get a chance, please watch it on Max or look it up, see if they're going to be somewhere in your town, or even email them and ask them, hey, will you come over here? The Oscars are, I know, this month. And so what I'll do is I'll probably live stream the night of the Oscars, but just for the documentary, because that's what they're up for. And then maybe just have a chat about after. So I'll see. I'll do something probably like that. But anyways, so hang on just a second. It's getting a little dark. Oh, yeah, my battery's don't work. Okay. I hope you can see me. Let me see if I can do something else about lights. Bear with me. See, this is the great thing about live streaming is anything can happen. Okay. I don't know if that helped any or not. But anyways, okay. So moving on, I want to share with you about Charles Sonny Burton. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, this picture tears me up every time I see it. And then we're gonna talk about it. So hang on just a second. See, I needed like a producer to do the other stuff. Well, I gotta remove that. Okay. Okay. So this gentleman right here is Charles Sonny Burton. And this is a website to help get clemency for Charles Sonny Burton. Um, Sonny, as what he likes to go by, has never taken a life, never killed anybody. It is not a murderer. I mean, I don't know how many ways you can say that. But he is facing execution here in the state of Alabama on March 12th, 2026. If you're not looking at your calendar, that's in 4 days. 4 days. This 75-year-old man, and as you can see, is in poor health, not a murderer, and he's going to be executed in the state of Alabama. What is wrong with this picture? I'm confused. The actual shooter, who was Derek DeBruce, was sentenced to life without parole, but Sonny got this. Sonny got, I'm going to be executed. He was on, got the death penalty. And so I don't know if, I don't know what happened then. Maybe, Derek talked to, got to the prosecutor first and say, can we work out a deal? That's the only thing I can think of. But Derek DeBruce, he passed away several years ago, so he's no longer here, and it's just Sonny. And what happened was, he well, let me make sure I want to get the right information. First, I want to go to the timeline, because timelines, if you're not into any kind of, I hate to say true crime, but if you're wanting to know, if you're following something that matters to you, timelines are very important, so you have an idea. Okay, so this is the case timeline, and let me make sure that's showing up. Yes, it is. Okay. And okay, so what it's saying is, he didn't fire the gun. He was not inside the store when Doug Battle, who was the victim, was killed. And so, this just talks about what is capital felony murder. But I want to touch on the timeline. So let's see here. Okay, bear with me. Okay, let me see if I can make this a little larger, and that way you don't have to look at me. Okay, so in 1991 is the incident, and it was August 16th, 1991. And we're going to take 2 seconds, and I'm going to make sure that, this is playing correctly. Hang tight. Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure that this was working properly. Okay. So let me go back to that screen. Okay. So 1991 was the incident. So this was like long time ago. So long time ago. And a robbery occurred at the AutoZone in Talladega, Alabama. During this incident, a customer, Doug Battle, is tragically shot and killed. So the facts: Sonny is outside the building when the shot is fired. The state identifies Derek DeBruce as the sole triggerman. The state is your prosecution. Okay, so then, so a year later, the trial, 1992, so not technically a whole year. January 31st, well, over a year. January 31st, 1992, a pretrial motions hearing is held in the absence of both Sonny and his co-defendant, a major procedural error later noted by legal scholars. So I'm wondering if this is the grand jury. And usually when a grand jury is when you don't the defendant is not aware, but there's a jury of folks, and the prosecution brings their evidence, and the prosecution puts on a mini trial, but without the defense and the defendant, which I think is ridiculous, because the whole saying is that kind of jury will convict a ham sandwich. So apparently the grand jury saw that there was enough evidence to take this on to trial. So as we move along, and I'll get this back up so you can see. I can tell I am so out of, and I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. I hadn't done this in a while. Okay. So we'll scroll on up. Okay. All right. 1993. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't finish. So April 16th of 19, it's got to be not. I think that's a typo. It should be April 16th, 1993. Despite not being the shooter, Sonny is convicted of capital murder under Alabama's felony murder rule. The jury recommends death, and the judge sentences him to die. And he wasn't even in there. So now I kind of want to go and see what the felony murder rule is that they've got on here. Okay. Make sure you guys can see that. Okay. If you can't see it, that's fine, because I'm going to read over it. So what is capital felony murder? Capital felony murder is a law that allows someone to be convicted of murder and even sentenced to death without killing anyone. Under this law, if a death happens during certain felonies like robbery, everyone involved can be held legally responsible even if they did not pull the trigger, intend for anyone to be harmed, or were not present when the killing occurred. Are you kidding me? This law is how Charles Sonny Burton came to face execution, despite undisputed facts that he was not the shooter and was not inside the store when Doug Battle was killed. Many legal experts and advocates argue that applying the death penalty to non-shooters under this law is fundamentally unjust. I agree. Oh my gosh. See, I come across these laws, or I come across these cases, and it's like, I need to add this one to my list to dive into. I need to bring up this law. Something's not right. Well, here's another one: capital felony murder. I need to add that because that is ridiculous and shameful. And if they're going to give Sonny that, then why didn't the shooter? But anyways, okay, so let's get back to the timeline. Okay. Now moving forward to 1993, 19 to 1995 initial appeals. So, for those that don't know, when you're charged with murder or whatever, you get so many appeals to, get a judge to review your case, the evidence. And so in 1993, the Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals affirms the conviction. Please help me. Okay, September 16th, 1994. So when the criminal, so it was the lower court that convicted him. Then when they did the appeal and went to the Court of Criminal Appeals, so they said, okay, what the lower court said was fine. We agree with that. Then on September 16th, the next appeal goes up to the Alabama Supreme Court. And the Alabama Supreme Court affirms the conviction despite internal arguments regarding the fairness of the trial. Internal arguments. Now, to me, that's saying, because the Supreme Court is, I believe that is more than one judge that's sitting there. And if they're having internal arguments, then they should not have affirmed the conviction, if I'm reading this correctly. But I think that's what they're. So then the last stop is on May 15th, 1995, the U.S. Supreme Court denies the initial petition for citator. I can't even say it. Citator. It's a legal term. And we'll see what that means, because I don't. And I like to learn new things. So, okay, let's see here. I'm looking it up. Give me just a second. And in the chat, if you know it, you get extra bonus points for being friends with me. Okay, so it's a writ issuing from a superior court calling up the record of a proceeding in an inferior court for review. Okay, that was a horrible. Yeah. Let's just put it this way. He was denied. So that didn't work. So in 2005 to 2009, federal and state hurdles. So federal habeas corpus proceedings take place in the Northern District of Alabama. During this period, the court examines claims of ineffective assistance of counsel and the non-triggerman disparity. But the petition is ultimately denied, moving the case closer to an execution date. And I just wished they could have fought this way back in the appeals part. So moving on to 2015, the turning point, triggerman resentenced. Years later, in a stunning turn of events, the state of Alabama agrees to resentence the actual shooter, Derek DeBruce, to life without parole. Okay, so he must have gotten. I didn't research this guy because I really don't care about him. And but anyway, so he must have gotten the same sentence. But we'll review your sure. Okay. So, and he got life without parole. The disparity. While the person who pulled the trigger is removed from death row, Sonny, who was not even in the room, remains sentenced to death. The state later admits this result is arguably unjust. Okay, so do something. Why am I still reading this timeline when the state should have back in the trial or the brought this up. Prosecutors, you're gonna have to excuse me. Well, yeah, prosecutors, you're going to have to be better at your job and make sure you do it right. And defense attorneys do not get enough recognition for them fighting because they're fighting for our rights. You may think they're these old greasy men that come in there and you know represent criminals and all that, and that's not the truth. They are there to protect citizens' rights and make sure that they are judged fairly, which, as you can hear and see on this, he was not talking about Sonny. So 2018, 2019 final state appeals. Oh, okay. So there were some more appeals. 2018, the Alabama Supreme Court denies a further petition for right of Satori. I cannot say that word. I need somebody to pronounce that. Okay. And then 2019, legal challenges continue regarding the constitutionality of Alabama's sentencing scheme and the disparity between Sonny and his co-defendants. So, in other words, they're still battling. So, 2025 to 2026, here we are. October 2025, the state of Alabama files a motion to set an execution date for Sonny. December 2025, Sonny's legal team files a 10,000-word response urging the court to deny the execution warrant due to his deteriorating health and the inherent injustice of his sentence. January 2026, a national clemency campaign launches. And that is what the website I believe I am on. Advocates point to Oklahoma Governor Stitt's recent clemency for a non-shooter as a precedent for Governor Kay Ivey to follow. I see that, but it would be so much better if they could. I mean, this is Oklahoma. If they could find one in Alabama to show her, that would be better. And then February 5th, 2026, Governor Ivey sets a March 12th execution date for Sonny Burton. I am disgusted. I cannot believe this is it. This is I don't understand. Why is this poor gentleman going through this? I mean, this is ridiculous. Look at him. I mean, that is him now. And for those that are like always complaining about, oh, taxpayers' dollars for, for prison and, talk about prison reform and, everybody's always complaining about money because people are crazy about money and their kids and their dogs. But if they would just release him, I mean, bless his heart. If they just release him, the state wouldn't have to pay for any kind of medical, wouldn't have to pay for any, medicines, that wheelchair. Just let him go. I mean, and then, oh yeah, and let's not talk about feeding him and making sure, he gets his needs, which I hope he is, but just let him go. This is ridiculous. So tomorrow, which is March the 9th, 3 days before he's set to be executed, y'all, I swear to goodness, I am going to cry if this man is executed. I'm going to cry. I'm not going to lie. I'll cry. But anyways, so tomorrow, Sonny's family, faith leaders, and community members will deliver over 50,000 petition signatures to Governor Kay Ivey, urging her to commute his sentence. The peaceful demonstration will start at the governor's mansion and march to the state capitol, concluding with a prayer for mercy. The event begins at 8 a.m. Central Time. So I think they're kind of like letting people know kind of get there at 7:30. And please remember, this is peaceful, so don't come in hot and, you know, just be dignified, and because you're representing people that care about Sonny. And in fact, I was going to try to go and take a friend with me, and of course, I forgot something that came up or that I already had done, so I'm not. But if I can, I'm going to try to. They're going to have it on Facebook Live, so I'll try to stream it on my through my channel so that everybody can see it, because not everybody has Facebook, just like, everybody doesn't have Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. So that's Charles Sonny Burton. And if you are interested, I will be putting the link to his website, and you can still sign from what I can tell. And there's ways to try to contact Governor Ivy and let her know how you feel. And that's okay, because that's your right. But do it in a classy, professional manner, please. Because we really want to help Sonny out the best we can. So, all right. So the next one that I'm going to discuss is, let's see here. I got to take this down. Okay. Okay, we'll put it back up. Okay. Technology is a blessing and a curse. Okay. 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 So this is about DeForest Johnson. And I actually heard about him through a content creator who I love. She's Southern. Her name is Gigi, and she has Pretty Lies and Alibis. And so please sub to her channel. And yeah, hold on just a second. I'm sorry to step away again. Hold on. Okay. You can see me. I'm so sorry about that. My other light, I've got to probably put batteries in the remote. But anyways, we'll just go with this one. It's not a great light, but it'll work. Okay, so back to Toforest Johnson. Heard about him from Gigi. And I was like, oh my gosh, if go over this, please let me know. I would love to help you. I'm an hour north of Birmingham. And so she didn't, and she got on to some other things closer to her, and she probably just wanted to let me get a chance. I don't know. So finally, 2 years later, I'm getting to this. And Forrest Johnson was, well, I want to go to his And we'll talk about these people's pictures here in just a moment. If I can find. I'm trying to find what I want to say. Okay, here we go. It's somewhere. All right, so this is Toforest Johnson. It was a long time ago. According to more than 10 witnesses, Toforest was across town at the exact time Deputy Hardy was killed. So Deputy Hardy was doing some, side job, working at a motel, and was shot and killed. And Toforest, someone said he did it. There's no facts that back this up. And guess what? He's on death row in the state of Alabama. All right. So, like I said, he was across town. And I believe he was with some friends at the exact time that Deputy Hardy was killed. There was no physical evidence linking him to the crime in any way. How are prosecutors taking this? I don't understand. Okay, prosecutors presented no eyewitnesses, and he has maintained his innocence since the day he was arrested. But going back to, okay, so how it works, and it's really sad that it's taken me this long to learn about the justice system. But how it works is when a crime happens, the police and detectives and whoever, they gather up evidence, okay? And so it's like working on a project. This is the teacher in me, and I'm trying to make an analogy, but you're working on a project. So first you got to, do your research. So the research would be the investigation, gathering the facts, gathering evidence, anything to figure out what happened and who did it, because motives aren't necessary, but they're helpful. So then law enforcement gives what they have to the prosecutor. Prosecutor looks over, or the district attorney, whoever, looks over and decides if they can put on a case or not. So the prosecutor in Alabama at that time decided, yes, we can put a case together and charge this man for the murder of this Deputy Hardy. And I'm like, y'all, I'm all about facts. I mean, it's in the name of my channel. If you don't have the facts, how can you even stand up in a court of law if you don't have evidence? And gosh, I don't understand. Someone please, in the chat or leave a comment, please tell me how this makes sense, because it makes zero sense to me. So back to that other page before I go on reading. Well, I'll go ahead and finish reading this part. So, prosecutors could not make up their mind about who committed the crime. At 5 different court hearings, they presented 5 different stories. This is a joke, y'all, and it's at Toforest's expense. They presented 5 different stories about what they claimed happened. The state's case against Toforest hinged on the testimony of one witness. One. And wait till you hear about this, because if this doesn't make you mad, then something's wrong, because this is ridiculous. So this was a woman who did not know him and had never met him, claimed to hear Toforest confess to the murder in an eavesdropped phone call. So she was eavesdropping on somebody's phone call that was talking to Toforest, and he confessed that he murdered Deputy Hardy. Now, how is that even possible? It's not. And to further tell how ridiculous this is, she was paid $5,000 for her testimony, a fact that was not finally revealed to Toforest attorneys until almost 2 decades later, when prosecutors revealed paperwork that had been misfiled. That is bullshit. And that, I believe it's called Brady violation. I want to make sure that's right because I'm going to tell y'all the wrong thing. That is where, y'all, the prosecution and the defense is supposed to do the exact same thing. Whatever facts and evidence they're supposed to share with the other people. And if the prosecution does not do that, that's a huge violation against his rights. I cannot, oh my gosh. I don't think I knew this, or if I did, I didn't remember this. I cannot believe that. That blows my mind. And paying that lady $5,000 for her testimony, and she was not even an expert witness. Not an expert witness. Okay, Brady violation. Yeah. A Brady violation occurs when prosecutors fail to disclose material evidence to the defense before a trial. And it's based off of the trial in 1963 Supreme Court case Brady versus Maryland. Oh my gosh. Becky. And y'all, I'm not going to sing that song. But anyways, what is going on? What is going on? What is wrong with these people? No morals. No wanting to do a good job. People not being able to, and I'm not saying his defense was good. I have no idea. But some people, they might get a public defender, and there's nothing wrong with a public defender. It's just they have too many cases and they get their work piled up. So it's not fair. It's not a fair justice system. And this is a bunch of bullshit. Again, I'm speechless because I didn't know that. And they don't care. So going back to what I was going to show you, that speaks volumes. But of course, the powers in Montgomery, they don't care because you know why? It doesn't affect them, so they don't care. So that first that I was showing you, let's see here. Okay. So Toforest has been in prison for 27 years. He is my age. I cannot even imagine 27 years of my life being in prison. And then I'm on death row for something I didn't do. But 27 years of his life is gone. Gone. Wasting away. It's gone. And I can't even imagine. I cannot imagine. So although Alabama continues to seek his execution, so these are people that have voiced across the state that are calling for a new trial. And let me find. There's one. Where is he? Come on. I can't find him. I do know the prosecutor that prosecuted the case has even stated that Toforest needs a new trial. Why didn't you say that back then? Why did you even move forward? I don't understand. We've got former U.S. Senator Doug Jones, and you can go on the Toforest website and read everybody who was who made comments, and all of these people are for him to get a new trial. All of them. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about former governors, former state representatives. I think I saw a former, district attorney, former There was a judge. I mean, this is absolutely here's one of the jurors um, from his case. And she says, I think we convicted an innocent man. I feel grief deep in my soul. I can't imagine what this has been like for him and his family. Okay, well, I'm not going to shame her, but really, if you're on a jury and you wholeheartedly believe that the prosecution did not do their job, then don't you dare give in and don't you dare say guilty. Do not fight it. Let it be a mistrial because you would be able to go to bed sleep. I mean, she's right here. I feel grief deep in my soul. That's how she feels because they made the wrong decision. So, but anyways, so like I said, you can just go down and see it, and I'll put like the website and the link to it in my show notes. And then I was also going to show you the podcast. This is the second thing that I learned about, and I'll tell you about the connection with it. But the podcast is Bone Valley, and it's season 4, and it's called Ear Witness. So I guess they came up with that from, you know, here we go. From I don't know. I just think that the title is cheeky because, well, that's how they won the trial. Is is that is based on that lady saying that she eavesdropped a conversation, and oh my God, I just can't. It's ridiculous. Eavesdropped a conversation and knew it was that man, but she'd never met him, didn't know him, but she knew it was him. Anyways, so the podcast, which is very good, and please, if you get a chance, listen to it. It's on Apple Podcasts, or you can get it on Spotify. But what's interesting is the journalist who did this podcast is Beth Shelburne, and she also um, is tied in with the Alabama Solution, and she was a former television journalist, and now she's an investigative journalist, and she did this 8-episode investigative podcast about Toforest Johnson's case, and she went and talked with people and witnesses, or family members, and it was really, really good information. So be sure to check that out, and again, I'll put the links so that you can see that. And let's remove that. So, yeah. Um, so the reality of Alabama prison system. They're overcrowded facilities, serious allegations of mistreatment, heartbreaking stories of people who say they were wrongfully convicted. And I'm going to say about the parts about the correctional officers. We hear they get drugs in and get paid for it. And do I think it's right? Well, of course not. But some of them, I believe they do it because they don't get paid enough. They have one of the worst jobs and they don't get paid enough. It's ridiculous. And I think it leads them astray from their duties, and so they do it to make money, and they also do it to feel like they've got some kind of power. But that's just my opinion. Um, but anyways, so these are human lives that we've talked about tonight. Um, their families and communities are affected by the system that many believe needs real reform. Real reform, not money thrown in and let somebody make the decision. Real reform. I want to see breakdowns of things. I think Governor Ivy gave some money for drug program in the prison. Okay, well, where's the breakdown of how it's gonna be used? How? I wanna see a breakdown. I don't wanna see where she was quoted blah, blah, blah. No, I wanna see a physical breakdown of how that money is gonna be used. And a lot of things need to be done that way, and it needs to be transparent for the citizens of Alabama to know what is going on in their state, because that's all right. Um, let's see. So, whether you see this as a problem of policy, accountability, funding, or justice itself, one thing is clear: the conversation can't stop here. Awareness is the first step toward change, and that is why I did this video, because I know some people, they have no clue what's going on in Alabama. None whatsoever. And they live here. Like, I could go up to somebody and say, "Hey, do you know Toforest Johnson?" "Uh-uh." Or, "Do you know, Sonny Burton?" "No." Okay, those are big deals. I mean, that's a huge deal. What if you get in their predicament? Think about that. Think about how your family would feel, how you would feel. Um, it's not, and it's everything. It is policy. Policies and procedures are not um, followed through. People are not being held accountable. And like I said, funding is an issue. We've got to get some really smart people, financial people that can really work budgets, and not just friends that will support me if I run for governor or whatever. I don't even know how that goes. I'm just rattling. Um, but yeah, awareness. So please share this live stream video, um, especially to the Alabamians that you know, because it is so important to know what is going on. And that's the whole point of my channel too, is bringing awareness of things that are not going on. Or, I mean, that things are going on that's not getting enough media attention. It's not getting enough attention, period. Um, Mainstream media is is kind of a joke, because every one of them have their own agenda. It's either their sponsors leaned a certain way, and I'm not talking political, or maybe they are political. I don't know. I don't really care. I just know that when I'm following cases and I'm getting the legal documents, and then I'm seeing wrong information on mainstream media, yeah, that's a problem. And that's why I go to YouTube and X for my news. I do not watch local news channels here in Alabama. Um, but anyways, so bringing awareness, and I don't know, I just feel like I need to do it. Would I have done this 5 years ago? No, but I don't know. I just feel like I need to do this. And so, but let's get off of that. We've had enough serious talk, and I need to calm down because I get all frustrated and mad, because I can't just walk up there and say, "Okay, we need to fix this right now. This is this," and I can't do that. So, all right, I'll settle down. Um, but I did want to share a quick update about my channel. No, I'm not closing it. I recently took a brief hiatus, due to I've got some chronic health issues. May not look it, but I do. And so I truly missed live streaming. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, I haven't done this in forever." I mean, I know once I get started, I'll start talking and it'll be fine. But it's just that whole starting to talk. But anyways, get going, and then all the tech stuff. I love tech stuff, but to be able to be the presenter, or the host, and do the behind the scenes stuff at the same time is can be a little daunting at times, but it'll be all right. But anyways, so moving forward, I intend to be more consistent with my YouTube content. And that's one thing on me, is a lot of times I don't feel good. And so at least once a week, I'm going to produce either a live stream like this or I'll do a pre-recorded video. And here's the beauty of my channel, Facts, Opinions, and Real Talk, is that the discussion topics are limitless. I did not, when I created my channel, I didn't want to be like a true crime channel. I, I mean, I wanted to talk about cases, but you know, there's other things I want to talk about. And, when you get older and people are, move away and your friends, everybody's busy with your families and you don't get to talk about things that you did when you hung out together all the time. So, I want to, plan to cover more local news. Cause like going into the office, hey, did you hear about this going on? Southside had ignorant boys, and when I say boys, we're talking about 18 to 20 years, throwing bottles at cars, water bottles. And thank goodness they got arrested. But see, a lot of people would have not known that. And so I just want to share some things that I feel are important or that I might like to talk about. And of course, you guys can even like message me and say, hey, can we talk about this case or can we talk about blah, blah, blah? Because I also plan on like talking about various health topics. We don't talk about our health enough. Everybody is either embarrassed or too much pride, and that's ridiculous. So, we're going to talk about some health topics. And I probably might even create some how to videos. Not, it's funny because it's not like, oh, I want more people to view this. It's because there's some things that I learned how to do at home. And then it's like, I don't have anybody to share it with. And I was like, Heather, share it on your channel. I thought that's a good idea. So, yes, I had a conversation with myself. Anyway, so we both agreed that I would do that. That is a joke. And then lastly, product reviews. Okay, I know TikTok is so bad about that, and content creators on YouTube, that's all they do is, they get paid. Nobody is paying me to review the products that I share. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, um, I was looking for a couch and I went on Facebook and messaged some friends and was like, hey, what's a good brand? Because, this brand that we used to buy just isn't good anymore. And people didn't know because they were having the same problems I was. So I would, when I buy stuff from Amazon or wherever, I'm going to record some videos and give you product reviews and pros and cons about it and whether I think it's worth it or not. So I'm really excited about that. So that way, um, I'm still going to advocate for Alabama's missing persons and work to help strengthen the connection between law enforcement and their communities, and of course, strive for a more um, equitable criminal justice system. But I think these other videos will be helpful for me and my mental health because I know after Karen Reed's second trial, I was physically and mentally drained. And I was not even, I only spent a week there in Boston. But after it was over, it was like I didn't want to watch any trials. I didn't want to, I needed to decompress. And this is my way of, okay, when things are getting a little, um, I don't know, I wouldn't say dark, but you talk about topics and it brings you down. Then, I'm going to do something else. I may even do movie reviews. Who knows? That's what I love about this channel. And that's what I like about me because I'm always thinking about what I can do to help people, to share with people. I don't know. So that is about it. So all the things that I talked about, I will put those links in the show notes. And again, hey, put your comments in. Even if you're watching this after I've already done it, put your comment in. I mean, it might be a good topic for a further, a future video or live stream. And so I guess that's all I have to say about that. So this has been another wonderful episode. I'm joking, wonderful, because I had so many things going on. But anyways, of Facts, Opinions, and Real Talk. If you found these topics of discussion important, which you should, make sure to like, subscribe, and share so more people can be part of these important conversations. So until next time, stay informed, stay thoughtful, and keep asking the questions that matter. And I'm trying to end the stream.